Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
This is the Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K. Reno and DJ Rec.
Alrighty, here we go. Legends 34, episode 24. We are now on the dawn of Game 7.
Who would have thunk it?
The Needles.
Who would have thunk it?
Not me. How about you?
I know you. Come on, Dad. You could go back and look at the archive. You know I didn't have any belief, man. I'm sorry, y'all. History had me wrapped up, and I was like, man, I don't think we can beat them even once. But here we are, on the verge of doing something that has only been done 13 times in the history of the NBA, and that's a team coming back from 3-1. But ironically, the Rockets have done it twice. The Rockets would become the third team. This version of the Rockets could become the third team to come back from 3-1 if they can get it done Sunday.
So now that they've won Game 6 and it is tied, and they won the last two, has your opinion changed as far as them possibly pulling this out?
Well, my hope is a little stronger, but when it comes down to one game, then absolutely, and especially at home, absolutely, they can do it. They can do it. You know, they just have to do it. You know, a lot of the same things that have been in play throughout this whole series, a lot of ups and downs, but the one thing that's been consistent for the Rockets in this series has been their defense. They have been defending like crazy. I've never seen the Warriors and Steph Curry be defended like this. Even tonight, he had 29 points, but he was 9 for 23 from the field. So that made him, he had to become a volume shooter in order to get his numbers. So yeah, they can do it. And my motto is, if you come all this way, you might as well finish the job. So, and what they did by winning tonight, they got the home court back from losing game 1. But yeah, to answer your question, now in hindsight, the series should be over, because you remember, was it game 3 or game 4? The game they missed 12 free throws and lost by 3. That was game 4.
Yeah.
If they take half those free throws, they win that game. So they really could have won 2 of these games, the 2 games in Oakland. So yeah, man, it's we're on the verge of, they could possibly slay the Dragon, because they are 0-4 against the Warriors in this 10-year span that they've been facing them in the playoffs, dating back all the way to the James Harden era. And this would be something to see if these young dudes could put it off. But I'm scared.
Well, my main concern is, since day one, I've harped on it so many times on this show about Jalen Green being the future of this team. What better opportunity now presented to him? He's had one really, really good game, and the rest of the games not only are questionable, but there's a lot of the media stirring. Barkley and the ESPN, all the trade rumors now swirling in, us getting Antetokounmpo, or maybe Durant, yes, been thrown our way. I hate to see it, man. Jalen is so young, but at the same time, he's been with the team. This is his 4th year.
Him and Shingo came in together.
Right.
Well, I'll say this because it's been bad. I'm a big Jalen Green fan, man. It's been bad, and I think he just not figuring out how to find his spots to score and be more consistent with it. In game 2, I think what happened was he just got really, really hot, and it looked like he had figured it out, but he really hadn't figured it out. In his defense, if you really watch the intricacies of the game, Golden State is blitzing him a lot because of the respect that they have for him. He led the Rockets in scoring this year, so they're blitzing him a lot. He's not always reading it properly. But even tonight, he had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Only 1 turnover, but he shot 3 for 11. 5 or 6 free throw line. Okay. He was trying to do other stuff, which is all they ask of him if the shot is not falling. Don't let lack of scoring dictate how you play the total game. You still got to play that total game. And he's struggling through it. Hopefully he'll save his best for last and give a good performance in game 7. But the way Fred been stepping up in that spot, oh my gosh.
Right.
I've never seen this version of Fred VanVleet since when he's with Toronto. I ain't see this version. Right. 25, 26, and 29 in 3 straight games, man. So I'm hoping that he can give us another performance, because what that does, it takes a lot of the attention and the pressure off of Jalen. And they even tried to throw a wrinkle tonight. I don't know if you caught that. They started Gary Payton II in order to try to put him on Fred, to try to neutralize Fred, and it still didn't work.
What immediately comes to my mind, I don't know if you watch any of the All the Smoke podcast.
Yeah.
And the recent one with Rasheed Wallace. And he talked about veteran leadership. And to me, I got sad, man, because here we had somebody like John Wall, who was cashing checks, sitting on the sideline. Could have been that one of those veterans to Jalen Green, get him a jump start, man. But here it shows VanVleet comes in here. He's showing his veteran leadership at a time we needed it most. What better way to show these younger kids, with championship experience, it goes a long way. Don't panic. It's not time to hit, emergency switch. We got this, man. And I can hit big shots when it counts. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we come out of this. Jalen Green has what a great opportunity again to have a great game 7.
Well,
a 38-point game, 40 points.
Well, at this point, we can't even concern ourselves with trying to worry about if Jalen Green have a good game. They got to just win. They have won despite him only having 1 good game out of 6. Now, of course, if he was playing his normal game, they probably would have swept these dudes. But at this point, to me, it ain't even about worried about you. We want him to have a great game, but we need to win. Amen Thompson had a shaky start to the series, but he figured it out. He looking like himself again. He's figured it out with the physicality and how to think the game.
I text you. That mid-range is developing right at the exact right time. We talk about it. We got like the gospel, man. That kid's learned it. That 10-footer.
He put up and knocked down a 3 the other night.
Yeah, he sure did.
A lot of that is confidence. We talk about Ben Simmons all the time, and just how the fact that his mental is gone. See, Amen Thompson is a guy, in my opinion, that he understands what he got to work on. And from last year to this year, his outside shot has taken a jump, whether it be that corner 3 that he's pretty decent at, or like you said, the little mid-range shot. So you just got to embrace what your weakness is and turn it into your strength, because I think the whole league knows that once he learns how to shoot, it's not going to be nothing nobody can do with him,
Yeah, it's going to be very scary.
But Şengün's been the rock consistent throughout this whole series, man. I think he's averaging like 20 and 11 throughout the series. Had 21 and 14 tonight with 6 assists. I mean, he's figuring it out. You know, he's really figuring it out, man. So, and special shout out to Jabari Smith.
Yes.
This dude have come off the bench in every game in limited minutes, and every time he comes in the game knocking down.
Is this whispers of a Robert Ory here, man? That's I get the energy, like Big Shot Bob, man. Those corner threes, they kick it out to him, and he's got no fear whatsoever hitting that shot.
I think the only difference is that he won't get the kind of minutes that Robert Ory got when Ory was with the Rock. Ory was a starter and he was a finisher. He finished the game.
Which, by the way, he needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Every time I see any meme, anywhere, they talk about Robert Ory. Hell, he was on ESPN the other day. Sorry to get sidetracked, but you hit a button with me. On ESPN the other day, a little boy lost his jersey in the fire. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw that.
They had Robert Ory come. Man, they need to put this dude in the Hall of Fame, man. What are they waiting on?
Well, you know, it's a club, you know, and I think that overall stats play a role in the voting and all that. But
yeah, 7 rings ain't enough stats.
Yeah, because championships is a stat. But you also what would make me put Robert Ory in the Hall of Fame? It would be one thing. It would be the fact that the 3 teams that he played for, he's hit shots with all 3 of those teams that if he doesn't make some of those shots,
they don't win.
You know, they don't win it. So they might have got one here, one there, you know, but I can only remember one time in history Robert Ory, to my recollection, missed a game-winning shot. I think he was playing for the Spurs at the time. But other than that, anytime they needed it, it went down. So yeah, so I'm with you. But as far as Jabari goes, he can be compared to Robert Ory in a lot of ways, but he won't get those minutes unless he's really hot. You know, unless he's really hot, man. But he's been playing so good in limited minutes, limited shot. He was 3 for 4 tonight, 2 threes. He just comes right in. It's like when he comes off that bench, his mind is already locked in. And when he shoots, and you watch it, man, his shoulders are always square. His shot, he got one of the prettiest forms, man, in the league. You know, and with that high release point, you're not getting, once he gets to a spot, you're not getting to it, man. But I wanted to give a big shout out to your brother, man.
Oh boy.
Because
another veteran.
Man, this dude. Now, this is another reason I say the series could have been over. The last game they played in Golden State, when they started doing the little hack thing on Steven Adams, and I think he may have missed the first couple of free throws. I think Ime might have, I don't want to use the word panic, but he might have, like, okay, hold on, let me take him out. So when he took him out, it changed the whole game because this dude has been like on the plus minus stat. Steven Adams' plus game is like way
roof, man. Yeah,
he was a plus 15 tonight. But when he came out of that game, the Rockets was in control of that game. And I remember saying it then, you know, I'm no Udoka, but I remember saying, I said, man, they ought to just leave him in. Just leave him in and see what happens. And tonight,
exactly what they did.
What they did. They left him in because what I've always heard people say when it comes to that strategy, unless you are just a terrible free throw, just you can't shoot free throws at all. Most guys, that gets them in rhythm, you know. And I think Steven Adams is about a low 60% some free throw shooter. We got to check that stat, but that got him in rhythm. He was hitting all net at one whop, knocking him down. So the total numbers will show 9 for 16 from the line, but when it was down that stretch where they was hacking him, he was knocking them thing down. And if he did, he would go 1 for 2. So 17 points, 5 rebounds, 31 minutes, you know. just clean it out under the glass, man, we don't win this game without. You need to call your brother, man, and
And that front court, man, with Şengün, him, and then when Jabari come in, man, that's tough for any team to deal with that, man. You got three
look,
7-footers.
Look, Fred had 8 rebounds.
Yeah.
Tonight. That's what people see. He had 29 points, 8 assists, but he had 8 rebounds. He had more rebounds than Amen Thompson. Thompson had 7. So the thing is, everybody understands that, man, it's got to be a collective effort because the Warriors are concentrating. They're making an effort to try to crash the glass a little more because they know the Rockets are the best rebounding team in the league. But when your 5'11" point guard gets 8 boards, bro, he had more boards than Steven Adams.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but and shout out to Draymond Green for being a scrub that can't really, do it. But
he gave us a lot of props in the press conference, man. I mean, show us some sportsmanship, some respect. He says
scary, though.
That our defense is, what's the real deal, man?
I saw that. I won't accept that until after we beat them. If we beat them, I don't want to hear it now because I'm a constant strategist, meaning that don't compliment me to try to take my edge away. Keep being the same dude you was, talking crazy, pushing and doing all the stuff you do. Nah, don't compliment me now. You ain't gonna soften me up with no compliment. We ain't falling for that.
Like that technical tonight against Jalen, like that's kind of borderline. Almost could get thrown out of the game for something like that. I think he'd get thrown out of a regular game on something like that.
I have never seen a guy get more rope from the referees than that dude in history. In history, man. You could talk about Dennis Rodman, you could talk about Oakley, anybody, Barkley, the way he would talk to the referees at times, man. I've never seen nobody commit more physical acts against other players. There's been 3 or 4 instances where he's literally just pushed somebody in the head and, just stuff like this, and they gave, like I said, they gave him a flagrant for it, but man, I'm like, man, it's crazy how he continues to just get away with that type of stuff, man. And then after the flagrant, push right up on the ref and start talking more crazy to the ref.
Yeah, right.
The ref just stands there like the child being punished at school. So I mean, I've never seen it, man. So, well, let's talk about Game 7. And see, man, what do you think that we need to do? What do we got to look forward to? And convince me, being the eternal pessimist that I am as it relates to Rockets and Warriors, convince me that we can beat these dudes, man. Because now I'm fearing this tragic letdown that's gonna happen on our home court, man.
Well, it all hangs on one player, man. Well, let's just get the elephant out of the room, and that's Steph Curry, man. And he's hearing these reports about his thumb, yet he continued to put 28 on us tonight, or whatever.
He had 29.
He had pictures of his thumb all jacked up and this and that, and I don't know if that's really a factor or not. Is he supposed to be getting 40 if not for a hurt thumb? But, I mean, Jimmy Butler's putting 27, 25. I mean, they're still getting a lot of offensive production out of just those 2 players, but really nobody else.
Yeah.
And I'm beginning to believe, surprisingly, the media, where especially Barkley, I give him credit, can Curry and the team withstand this? Meaning, Rockets are young and athletic, man. I mean, it's kind of a marathon. You want to win the race, but this is a marathon. And in that regard, there's a lot of positives on our side. And that's just, we got the dogs and we got the horses to run them out of the gym, man, in a 7-game series. Whereas it seems, again, I don't want to jinx anything, but they're kind of JJ Redick said it right. His excuse, they need to get in the championship shape. Are the Warriors in championship shape? You know, this is proven that if nothing.
I think they are in shape, but I also think, and I haven't heard anybody say this, but I think that the age thing with the Warriors is a little overblown. They only got 3 dudes that are considered to be old, and that's Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler. And Steph and Jimmy Butler still play at a high level. You gotta, if you would ask any basketball people and say in this series, who are the 2 best players in the entire series, both teams combined, most people are going to say Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are the 2 best players. So by that, they got the 2 best players in the series on that one team. Now, Draymond, like I say, he don't do nothing now. He can't. His thing is pass the ball to the pick, pass the ball. That's his skill set. But Paczynski's young. Gary Payton is young. The rookie Quentin Post that comes in, he's a rookie, so naturally he's young. Moses Moody, he's young. All the guys that are coming in, and they don't even play Kuminga. Thank goodness. You know what I'm
Buddy
saying?
Hield is old.
Buddy Hield is.
He was had a big goose egg.
30s. You know,
right?
Buddy Hield's not 35. He's not older than Steph and Jimmy Butler.
True.
So they still got a pretty young group. You know, so I think they're using that old man excuse just in case they lose.
Yep.
They were old, you know. Nah, man, their 3 guys are older, the guys with the experience, but you know, we coming out there with Steven Adams and Van Vliet, Dylan Brooks, those guys are all in their 30s. You know what I'm saying? The younger side of 30, but still a lot of miles on those guys as well. So I mean, I don't buy into that, man. I think that the Rockets are just well coached, and they've been coached to not back down and to stand their ground. And we have a coach that's not going to let them quit and let go of the rope. He's going to hold them accountable, man. So they've been doing a good job so far. Even with the numbers that, like I say, Jimmy had 27, but he was 7 for 17. Steph was 9 for 23. So they shoot. Jimmy got 12 of his points from the free throw line. So they're doing a great job on these dudes. And every now and then, one of the scrubs will come in and knock Peyton will hit a 3 here and there, or somebody like that. But man, they're doing a great job, man. Continue to focus on and keying on the guys that can actually beat you, like Steph and Jimmy.
And also shout out to Tyree Eason, man. I think he had 4 steals tonight.
Yeah, man.
Also another Doberman that comes off that bench, pressures the ball, gets turnovers, gets rebounds, and hits also big shots, man, from outside.
3 for 4, 8 points. You know, Tyree Eason do stuff that don't show up on stat sheet. You know, like I say, man, this team is built on defense, but we got guys, even our defensive-minded guys are capable of scoring, because we talked about Jabari that coming in, knocking down 3. Tari Eason been coming in the game, knocking down 3s too throughout the whole series. You know, so yeah, I mean, it's been a team effort. The rotation is a little shrunk. You know, Holiday got a little action tonight, man, but you know, it's been tight because these minutes are important, man. So, you know, get home, get some rest, and you know, hopefully Scott Foster don't referee this game. We'll have a chance to win it. You know, if they say Scott Foster reffing this game Sunday, man.
Oh boy,
I got a bad feeling, man. I got a bad feeling. I wish there was a way to look it up in advance and see who the refs are going to be, man. You know, so because
it could play in our favor. Draymond Green and Scott Foster.
But it's something about, I just think that even though Draymond is how he is with the refs, he's gotten away with it so many times, even with Scott Foster being out there. You know, like when we had Harden and CP, and they say some years ago, they say Scott Foster told Chris Paul before a game, you know, you've never beat me before. So like, I didn't know I was playing against the referee.
Man.
So that right there lets you know it's like, oh, this dude had a vendetta. So, hopefully don't carry over into the new generation of the Rockets, but we'll see who refs that game, man. We'll see who refs. But whatever happens, man, be ultra aggressive. Play smart. Don't turn the ball. I think we only had 11 turnovers tonight. Don't turn that ball over. And more importantly than anything, don't have those stretches where you let them go on a big run. 18-1 run to start the third quarter in game 5, stuff like that, game 4. Don't let them have a 35-18 quarter on you. We got to be consistent, just like we was tonight. Even in the third quarter when they scored 36 points, okay, that was their explosive quarter, but we had 33 points. So we were still able to compete, to hang in and have a 2-point lead going to the fourth. So I'm going to be scared, but.
Well, this is game 7 all for the marbles, man. And people need to come out and, blow the roof off that place, man. Toyota Center, man. Like, be proud of this young team.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Get excited, get behind them, man. It's good that they, how they say, blessings in disguise. And they were down and now showing that they got some fight in them, you know what I'm saying? And get us behind them. Maybe, who knows if, hopefully they win where this run will take them, They come out of this round, we're headed towards the Wolves. Is that correct?
Yeah. We don't want
Minnesota.
We don't want to put the buggy in front of the horse, but yeah, if they win this game, that would be a much tougher series than this one in terms of playing a team that, in my opinion, is deeper, that has more talent. Because you're talking about number one, Ant-Man. Then you got Julius Randle. You got Naz Reid coming off that bench, killing as a 6-man.
Julius Randle, sorry to intercede here. Julius Randle was in a big offseason trade with Cat.
Yeah.
Both teams advanced in the playoffs. So
far, both.
That's interesting.
I thought about that last night. This has been an even trade. Nobody can say they won the trade yet or lost the trade because both teams have advanced. And in the beginning, a lot of media people were talking about how it was a bad trade for Minnesota because when Cat got to New York, he was balling immediately. They were winning immediately. But when Julius Randle got to Minnesota, it was a little growing pain. So they was like, oh, they made a mistake. But now, both teams in the second round, and actually, Minnesota got out of their round easier than New York did. They beat the Lakers in 5.
Yeah.
But they're just a much better team. We still got Mike Conley, and Rudy Gobert had 20-something and 20 rebounds in a closeout game the other night. So it's going to be tough. DiVincenzo. If the Warriors win, I think that Minnesota will probably beat them in 5 as well. If the Rockets win,
I like the Rockets in that matchup because of the bigs.
Well, yeah, we got more bigs than they have, and we would have home court. I wouldn't make a prediction. But at the end of the day, I think it would be tougher for us to beat Minnesota. Even though you look at it and say, well, if they win in 7 games, you say, well, that was 7 games. Minnesota, to me, is a way better team than the Warriors, But that's a good problem to have, If they get out the first round, we playing with house money, in my opinion. I mean, of course, they're going to try to win it, but if we get out the first round, it's like no pressure in my eyes. No pressure. I just hate the Warriors. I'm just tired of losing. Just beat.
I'm right there with you, man. That's our championship. They beat the Warriors. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm already done. Thank you.
We'll do a parade. If they beat the Warriors, we're gonna have a parade. Just beat them.
Yes.
Every time I see that 0-4 in playoff history versus beat the Warriors, and I live with whatever happens in Minnesota, man. Straight up.
Right. It's like the equivalent for me is the Colts. It's just one of them team. I just I despise the Warriors.
Yeah, man.
You
I mean,
know, anytime you can beat the Warriors, any team that can beat the Warriors in a 7-game series, you gotta applaud that, man. I don't care what team it is. I mean, and Steph and them, they know the hourglass, the sand is running out, man. There ain't much more opportunity left. Draymond Green and getting younger, and Thompson's out of there, and now they try to put Jimmy Butler as his place cap. But we will see, man. Game 7. Next thing of interest here, I wanted to give tribute here to somewhat of Greg Popovich. They have announced that he is going to retire. I think they're moving him to a president position with the organization.
Basketball operations, yeah.
Which I love that because, with Wembanyama, now they got Castle. Who knows what they're going to do in the next draft. They got
Man, don't remind me, man. Why did we draft Stephon Castle, man? Now,
makes you wonder, man.
Year. I know this dude could be helping us right now. I know.
Right.
Just athletic player, man. Man. Look, I'm watching Reed Shepherd come in garbage time and still looking bad. Like, come on, man. Like, yeah, man. We I don't know what went into that pick, bro. I just don't. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But Pop, Pop should have retired 5 years ago, man. That's in my opinion. But I understand you love to do. Do it as long as you can. He rocked it till the wheels fell off. And something I saw that was real impressive when they was announcing that he was going to move up to the front office, they showed his coaching tree.
Yeah, the 7 degrees of the Pop.
Bro.
Wow.
That was sick, man. It's
how many championships in that tree, right?
Man, and just how many coaches, like, man, all the way to Becky Hammond. It's like this dude have made his mark, and a lot of coaches, like even coaches that have won, like Budenholzer and Kerr and even Udoka went to the finals with Boston. It's like he got a lot of winners on his tree. Becky Hammond in the WNBA. So this dude showed that the kind of coach that he really is, man. And
Becky Hammond being one of the first, if not the first woman to coach an NBA game.
Well, yeah, female coach in the league,
something like that. It was a couple years back. I forget.
Yeah, I think she was the first. I don't think there's been another one. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, man. This guy, he paid all-time leading coach in wins, 5 rings. He said they can put him in the hall now.
Yeah, man. One of the greats of all time, man.
Yeah.
But had some great players along the way to do it, man. So
and the thing is about a lot of his players, San Antonio's stuff was homegrown. It was organic. Their core that won those championships, all of them were drafted. Tim, Manu, Tony Parker, even throw David Robinson in there because he got 2 in there, and trading for Kawhi on draft day. They traded George Hill to get Kawhi. So all of those players that they had, San Antonio didn't get a lot of free agents, that came in and added a super team and all that type of stuff. So they did it organically, man. So salute.
Yeah, Coach Popovich go down again, one of the greatest NBA basketball coaches, period.
Coaches, period, in any sport.
And a former player, correct? I believe so. Yeah,
he played a little bit. I don't know if he played in the league, but I think he might have played a little bit. But yeah.
Also noteworthy, Damian Lillard, man, unfortunately, has tore his Achilles heel. They're saying, and they're maybe saying next year is in doubt, which comes full circle. Does this affect Antetokounmpo, right? Does that make his future in doubt with the Bucks? He moves somewhere else. Now there's, trade rumors swirling all around Miami. He goes to Miami or maybe the Rockets. But Damian Lillard is a big factor. I mean, that's why they traded for him to go over with the Bucks. And then,
Yeah, unfortunately, in my opinion, they weren't going to win with him. Boston and Cleveland too strong. I don't think they would beat. They could have beat New York if they'd ran into New York. They're getting a little old. They're getting a little older, man. Guys like Brook Lopez and even Bobby Portis and guys. And even
but K, they won the Emirates Cup, didn't they?
Yeah, but that's way in the middle of the season, and a lot of guys they don't take that.
That don't count, right?
To me, it counts because they playing for the money, but it seems like guys don't take it as serious as they may should. But and like I said, that's in the middle of the season. But when you get into those playoff series where guys are really locking in and keying on you, that changes everything. So they got to do a shakeup, and I don't know if Giannis is really interested in that kind of build. So. He paid his dues. He brought them a ring, man. He might burn out. But, if he was to land, they already talking about Lakers and all this different stuff. The top market teams are always, their names are always going to be thrown in the mix about who might get him. But, a guy like that playing with the Rockets would be cool. But you always got to ask yourself the question, what would you have to give up? Because Jabari would be gone. Jaden would be you're not just giving up one guy and a couple of picks. It's gonna be 3 core guys. It's gonna be he gonna knock a chunk out of the lineup if they was to pursue a guy like that.
Yeah, I think they go for a Şengün.
No, that's not gonna happen. No, Şengün and Amen Thompson, untouchable. It would defeat the purpose. You want to get Giannis to play alongside of Şengün.
I would hope so.
That would shut the league down, because Giannis could play the 4 and Şengün could play the 5. But Alp and Amen Thompson, I think, are the 2 dudes on this team that the GM is going to the phone up. If you mention their name, he hanging the phone up. Yeah. Everybody else,
see how this offseason plays out. Where they end up at, So, good luck, man. Game 7. Go ahead.
And a lot of it got to do with how far they go. Like, say, if they lose Sunday, then, they'll start having those conversations, especially with Jalen Green. See, Jalen Green can redeem himself in his position if, just say he has a bad game Sunday, but they win. Then he comes into the next round and he plays better. And even if they lose, that's okay. Well, he had to learn. He got better. He figured some things out. But if he plays bad Sunday and they lose, then it's going to be immediate that the conversation is going to start about getting Devin Booker in here, getting Durant in here, But the problem comes now, real quick. If he lays an egg Sunday, his trade stock actually decreases because other teams are looking at that like, well, I don't know if we really want him.
Right.
Watch what he did in these playoffs. So that could hurt, the situation. So it's a lot to look at. I'm hoping he plays good, or even if he doesn't play good, they win, and then he can kind of get a reset in the next round and look a lot better. Because Golden State seems to have had his number since he's been in the league. So we'll see. But game 7 coming, man. My hands are already sweating, bro. I'm scared.
Pins and needles, man.
I'm scared, man. I'm scared.
And
I don't like losing I don't like my season ending on my home court, bro. I remember when Stockton hit the shot.
Oh man,
I remember when I'm gonna tell you where I was when Utah beat us. The second wave of Utah when they had Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer. I was connecting flight going to Australia, and it was game 7. And somebody gave me word. They said, "Oh man, they lost. And I didn't get a chance to see the game because I was traveling, but they lost game 7 to Utah. Down here with McGrady and y'all, they lost game 7. They lost game 7 to the Warriors with Harden after the Chris Paul hamstring right here in Houston. So it's been 3 heartbreaking playoff game 7s that they have lost in recent years. I cannot remember a Game 7 they won in the Toyota Center in a long time. Maybe the last one may have been 2015 when they came back from 3-1 against the Clippers. You remember that? They were down 3-1.
Yeah, that's probably it.
They closed out in Game 7 down here. I think that was the last time they won, and that was 10 years ago. So anything beyond that, and when the Rockets beat the freaking Knicks, you know what I'm saying? or maybe Phoenix in the 95 of the games.
Kiss of death, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, that was on the road, so that was count either, yeah. Mm-hmm. But
as Van Fleet said, this ain't the same Rockets team. Well, it seems like maybe he's backing that up. We'll see if he has another big game. That'd be great.
Man. That would be great. That'll really put us over the edge, man. So,
and before go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say before we move on with basketball, I did want to bring up with this story that's developing. If people are not following this, Hanson Emmanuel, the one-armed basketball player, right? You've probably seen him in memes and on social media from high school. Now he's in college playing for Austin Peay, and he's going to enter the NBA draft. What a story, right? And I don't know. I will put some clips in this episode. If you've seen his latest mixtape, if you will, and playing for Austin Peay, but eye-opening. Wow, the kid is super athletic, flying all over the court, blocking shots, stealing the ball, let alone can shoot three-pointers with one hand. Yeah. Of course, he could dunk alleys. I mean, who knows, man? If he ends up, in the NBA, maybe in the G League a little while, but what a story that'll make. They'll probably make a movie on it, and I don't know, they're going to have to find an actor with one arm, or me and my wife was talking about this, or they computer generate his arm out of the special effects.
They can AI that arm off, you know what I'm saying? But I hope he lands somewhere, man. Get an opportunity. I hope they give him a chance.
Right.
Because I have seen the highlights, and he has really shown that deficiency doesn't affect his game. Because like I was saying, he played better with one arm than some people play.
Ben Simmons, are you watching this kid?
I'm sure he's better than Ben Simmons. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole key. Like it's what you make it. The situation is the situation, but it's what you make out of your situation. And he clearly got a strong mind and a strong will that puts him in the mind frame like, okay, I ain't got but one arm, but that's not gonna stop me from
right.
And he'll land somewhere. I'm not gonna say he's not gonna make the NBA, but if somehow he does it, he'll be overseas. He'll be like you said in the G League or something like that. So,
Again, that's developing, and we'll see how it goes. What an amazing story! I guess we're gonna switch gears here to the NFL because we had a draft and we had lots of question marks heading into the draft. I think we still got more question marks just out of the draft because, boy, Kay, did they draft themselves some wide receivers, man. How many wide receivers do we need exactly?
Maybe might need a bunch of them.
Do these wide receivers block?
We should have drafted Shador because when what
a story.
When CJ gets sacked 1,000 times and we're gonna need a backup quarterback because they have not addressed the offensive line properly, and if they don't put out some kind of miracle before the season starts, they're gonna be worse than they was last year on the line. It's crazy.
Well, to go down the list real quick, they drafted wide receiver Jaden Higgins. They did get offensive tackle and Ursery. They got another wide receiver in Jalen Noel. They got a cornerback, Jalen Smith. They did get a running back in Woody Marks, which they say that was kind of maybe a steal there. We got a safety in Jalen Reed. We got a bunch of Jalens.
How many Jalens? Yeah.
And a quarterback, that was kind of surprising, Graham Mertz. And then they got defensive tackle Keontae Hamilton. And finally, a tight end with that last pick, Luke Leachy. So, again, they took one pick to address the offensive line and ended up getting more than receivers than maybe it was a receiver high class, man. I don't know, but
now I understand why they're getting receivers. Tank's gonna be pretty much gone most of the year, if not the whole year. They kind of don't want to be in a position of what happened last year when Tank went down late, but Stephon Diggs went down, and all of a sudden you went from having this real potent receiver core to just Nico. Nico even went down a little bit last year. So I get why they stacking up the receiver core, but I'm just still more fixated on the offensive line because with a quarterback like CJ, if he had time to pass, he could turn no-name receivers into household names. You know, he could make those other guys look better. But
ask Tom Brady. Yeah,
it would right. It wouldn't hurt. It never hurts to have a potent receiver, another potent guy on the other side. And from what I hear, at least one of those guys is really, really, really good out of those receivers that they drafted. So, you know, you got to do that. You got to give CJ more weapons, and hopefully this offensive coordinator that they got, he can incorporate the tight end more. Whoever the tight end is going to be, incorporate him more into the offense, and hopefully teach him how to block. Hopefully they can block as well, you know, because the tight end is a part of the offensive line as well.
And I can't help but mention already, man, one of the stories of the draft was how Shedeur Sanders dropped all the way to the 5th round, and Cleveland came in and took him. And that's of interest to us because, you know, the whole big package, Deshaun Watson, all those picks. And now, you know, Cleveland's talking about possibly giving up on that, maybe buying him out. I don't know what they're going to do. It looks like Cleveland's ready to go another direction, possibly. See how this pans out for them. And
that was a bunch of bull crap they did with Shedeur. They called themselves humbling him, you know. But
yeah, the pranks they did.
That passed on him, you know. He got the kind of mental makeup. He'll make them regret that, and I hope he does, you know, because that was just some BS. You know, they don't like his attitude, his ego, his arrogance, his confidence. They don't like that. But on the same token, you claim you want to win. So they try to punish him based on who his father is and his bravado, and that trickling down to Shedeur. So, you know, it just shows how the NFL, these owners, they'll band together when they need to, you know, to try to bring somebody down a peg. But it's really just an example of how hypocritical they and how stupid it is, man, straight up. And I hope he make every team that pass on him pay, except us.
Yeah, same here, man. It was.
I wish we'd have drafted him.
Also,
I want him to play too, so he'll get to play in Cleveland.
Yeah, unfortunately in the AFC, so we're gonna be seeing him twice a year, but it is what it is. But also of interest in the draft was Travis Hunter. He went early, and the controversies there, him playing both sides of the ball. I want to know your thoughts on that.
That he should play both sides of the ball. Plain and simple. And that's
how many snaps you talking about when you say that, though?
Whatever he's comfortable with. High school, college, that's who he's been his whole career. He's comfortable with it. Now, if he gets to the league and it starts to be too much on either side, then they'll find a way to balance that and find a way to kind of regulate that. But if he's comfortable playing both sides of the ball like he's done all his life, see, every now and then, an athlete just comes along when they're just a special athlete. You have people like Bo Jackson that played two different sports at the same time, along with Deion. Where you got a guy like Shohei Ohtani in baseball who is just as good a hitter as he is a pitcher. And we've never seen that. So they don't tell Shohei, well, man, we kind of want you to just focus on pitching, so we're going to let you hit. Or focus on hitting, so we're not going to let you pitch. It's like, no, you're going to do both and do it at a high level. So if this kid comes along and he's able to play both sides of the ball, however many snaps it is on both sides, let him do it until it proves itself to not work.
And I'm a bit fuzzy. Here I bring this subject up, but I believe that was Jacksonville that draft him.
Yeah. So he's in our division, so we got to see him twice a year.
Yikes! More AFC foes, man. To see more than twice a year or 2 times a year. Who knows how the playoffs is, but we'll see how that plays out. But yet the Texans made some questionable draft picks, and I don't know if they're still done acquiring more offensive help, line help. I guess we will see how. But they're gonna need something, man. The receivers is gonna be for naught.
They better address that line. They better make a trade. See, because even if you bring in rookies, and I'm one of them people, I'm just not a fan of rookies in certain positions. I'm more comfortable with throwing a rookie quarterback in the fire than I am too many young people on the offensive line. Because I just know what it takes in terms of, like, when you face these defenses, man, and that pressure. These guys got to be ready. Sometimes it takes a couple of years for them to kind of get their feet wet and round out into the NFL speed in the game. But unless they are an exceptional talent at that position, some guys come out of college and they just are already elite. But I just don't know what we have, man. And like I say, what we had last year wasn't nothing. So I guess they felt like, what do we got to lose? Let's go ahead and try to retool it. But I don't want to see this dude scrambling around a whole nother year again. I don't want to see that. I would love to see the dude be able to drop back and kind of survey 80% of the time,
Well, yeah, like you said earlier about the receivers, all the injuries they had last year, Diggs and whatnot, Nico Collins at one time, and then Tank Dell going down.
Yeah.
I understand, man. You need to be locked and loaded with your receiver core, but again, if you don't got no time to throw to those receivers, it becomes a little questionable, man. So we will see. You got anything else on the NFL?
Oh, no, that was it.
So I was gonna move on to the MLB because it seemed like the Astros, they went from we don't know what's going on to maybe something middle of the pack developing. Hunter Brown is having pretty sensational year so far.
Wow.
Some of this trade is kind of developing with the 3 players we got for Tucker. We'll see how this turns out, man. But of notoriety, if you've been following, Bregman's, what he's doing, what's Tucker doing, you got Springer doing what he does, and there's always what ifs. If
they got Astros scattered all out through the league, but they didn't want to pay. They didn't want to pay Tucker. I don't know how badly they wanted to pay Bregman. Guys just left, and that's sports. That's the nature of the business, is the nature of the game. And I always think that if a guy comes to a new team like Bregman, like Tucker, and they're healthy and they could play, they're gonna really make a good showing that first year with that new team. So I've been hearing a few things. Tucker been looking pretty good from what I heard. But yeah, man, I mean, that's the nature of the sport. And if you get any type of production out of those guys for a few years, and if that includes winning the championship, then that's cool. If we never won with those guys, because those are homegrown guys too, came up in our system. But if you never won with them, then you say, but we won with them. Let them go on, and we've had other chances to win with them and didn't get it done. So charge it to the game, man. Charge it to the game. But some of these new guys got to fill in that void, and they've been kind of missing. The Astros have kind of been swinging and missing, no pun intended, on new people they brought in, like what they did with Abreu last year, with Jose Abreu. That was like a disaster. And they've been missing with some of these players. So some of these guys they bring in, man, got to be the spark, man.
And for those of you who are not following Astros news, okay, get ready. I know you're going to get really excited with this bit of Astros news you probably haven't heard yet. You ready for this?
I don't know.
Your favorite pitcher, Astro pitcher of all time, is going to be making a return to the mound. Lance McCullers, I believe, is returning to the Astros lineup.
I saw that, and I mean,
Mr. 23 curveballs in a row. Remember that Yankee game? I think that'll forever be his lore, right?
And remember, I was like, man, is this dude gonna ever pitch again? We'll see, because he's slated to make a start. But I mean, we'll see, man. I hate to say it. I've never been a big fan of his. I've seen him come up big in some big moments back in the days when they was winning the championship, whatever. But I don't trust his stuff, man. He just don't strike me as a pitcher I don't trust his stuff. Now, as a starter, we'll see what he does. But my deal, and I'm not no baseball expert, but I would be looking more towards bringing that dude out the bullpen than just throwing him.
Middle relief, maybe a closing situation.
He could probably thrive in that role. But we'll see. We'll see what he does, how he starts off as a starter. He pitched a little bit in the minors not too long ago and pitched some solid innings or whatever. But I just will never forget when he was tipping his pitches that time in the World Series, and they were rocking this dude over the fence like it was going out of style. And I'm like, man, a guy that's that, you've come this far, you're in the major leagues, man. It's like how you make that mistake, as a professional pitcher, man, and you're in the World Series, man. Like, well, these guys are just, well, I might as well be out there pitching. That you can't, I don't know, man. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm never been a big fan of Lance McCullers, man.
I would have to give him some credit for as an athlete. I believe he had Tommy Johns, if I'm not mistaken. And then he had a lot of complications from that. And just to get back on a major league mound, give him some credit for that, man. But again, I'm a little skeptical myself, but I think we hadn't seen him play. I think it's been 3 years now.
And that's another thing that's super, 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 super injury prone. So I mean, we'll see. I can give a guy the benefit of the doubt, man. Let's see how he comes back. See what he's working with. Hopefully, he has used a time where he couldn't physically play or work out to kind of get the mental aspect and maybe learn different ways to approach the game and approach pitching. May have learned a couple of new pitches to add to his repertoire, and if that happens, then he could become real good. But pitching wins championships in baseball, and that's going to always be the case. When the Astros were winning, they had pitching from top to bottom, from the starters, the middle relief to the closers, and they just don't have that, So, and the hitting ain't been all that, But somehow they still hanging. They always get out to these slow starts, but we got to see.
Well, we will see, man. Go Stros. One thing of no other notoriety, if people hadn't seen this, or you've seen the unfortunate circumstance to the fan, he fell out of the stands. Man, he's in our thoughts, man. I think he's still in critical condition. I think it was 21 feet he fell.
How did that happen, though?
I'm not sure either. It was a pre-game, and there was a ball out, a foul ball he was reaching for. I'm not quite sure. Maybe he slipped, or there is footage of that. But we're seeing these incidents. I think it was one happened 4 or 5 years ago. Happened, and then one before that. I think a couple people have died.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't put rails. We can't put a jail out there. You know what I'm saying?
They might need to,
but something, man, keep fans from falling out of these.
Well, the thing is, and definitely not trying to be insensitive to the situation. We just got to exercise better judgment in those situations. Like,
and give credit, man. When's the last time you've been to an Astros game? You ever been up in the nosebleed?
Yeah, the
incline is crazy, man.
Yeah, I have. It's been a while, but that's the thing. It's like we have to use better judgment, because I'm paranoid as it is. I'm not gonna be the one to try to read. If the ball looking like it's coming to me, it better come to me. I'm not trying to reach out to it. If I'm hanging over that ledge like that, that's just not something. You know, that's why I say judgment has to come into play. I don't want the ball that bad, you know, and that's why I asked how it happened. It's like, come on, man. Come on, that's dangerous, bro. That's dangerous. If you up that high, that is a fall you do not want to make.
No way, man.
Yeah.
That's a big gamble.
Yeah, definitely blessings to him, man, straight up.
But also something before we go, I want to at least give props. The Cougars in the last episode was right before that big game. And, man, they fought hard. They didn't get that one last shot off. They'll forever haunt those players the rest of their lives. But, man, I mean, they got us there, man. A good team. We beat Duke. I mean, who beats Duke? Yeah, I'll wait on that.
Well, the problem is,
so
if you make Duke your championship game, you got another game to play. That's what happened. Yeah. So, but
Cougars will be highly ranked next year. A lot of players will be returning. So we will see how they line it up again next year. Maybe they get back and win it.
Long road, man.
Yes.
So you got to win it when you're right there like that. You got to win it. You got to win it. So, but yeah, shout out to them though. They did a great job.
But I think that'll wrap things up for this episode. Unless you got something else.
No, I think that's it, man. This is Go Rockets. You know, I'll be nervous and scared Sunday. So we'll see what happens, man. I'll be so happy if we finally beat the Warriors, but it's not an expectation. It's just a hope.
Like I said, maybe Jalen Green got another 38 in the pistol.
Well, you know, like I say, at this point, I don't even care. Just win the game. Because if Jalen Green comes out and hits 50,
but it's so much easier it's so much easier when he's on it, man.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Our chances go way up, you know.
But win the game. Because, like I said, I'd rather him score 11, 12 points again and we win, and Jalen Bryant breaks out and hits 48 and we lose. Win the game by any means. If you don't score but 2 points, let's get the dub.
By any means necessary.
Yeah, no question.
Well, I guess this will do for the episode 24. Till next time, man. Subscribe, drop a comment, and we'll see you, man. Legends 34.
Before we go, shout out. We'll be doing our the next Fondy Killer tournament. It'll be next week, May the 10th. We'll be back in the building next Saturday, man. With the second. What is it? The first. When you do it the second time, it becomes the first annual. But so it'll be our second tournament, the Fondy Killer tournament at Fondy Rec Center, 110 Sabine Street, Saturday, May the 10th, 10 a.m.
Awesome. Maybe that'll be our Rockets win parade, right?
We'll be about it. It'll be game 2 or 3 by then, you know, or the next round by in a week. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, again, that was a great event last time. Fondy Rec, full of history.
Yeah.
What a great place to play some basketball, man. And hopefully you redeem yourself this year.
Yeah, man. Hopefully we can
wrestle it away from our partner.
We lost in the championship last year, so hopefully we can bring it home, man. Hopefully we bring it home.
Awesome, man. We'll see how that goes. Again, Legends 34. I guess till next time, DJ Rick, we out.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
The Houston Astros are world champions for the first time in franchise history.
Don't ever underestimate the heart of a champion.
Legends 34 Sports Podcast with your hosts, K. Reno and DJ Rec.